We are back at the Vaulted Studios. Here we are. Took a week off last week. My grandfather died, so I have one grandfather and one grandmother left. Shout out Nana and Bubba. They're still kicking. R.I.P. Doug. R.I.P. Papa. He's in a better place now. So, but we are back here at the Vaulted Studios. Couldn't do last week because of that. And then, last week I just did a stream with Montante, which I think is kind of going to be. He kind of tried to like throw you. Did you listen to that?
I only listened to a little bit. I didn't get to the part with me.
So at one point he was like, so what's up with Matt? Like, is he just like ditching you? And I was like, no, not at all. I was just like, not at all. Like my grandfather died and this, and he was trying to get me to kind of turn a little bit on the dark side of the.
Is he trying to start some wrestling feud here? Cause
you'll kick his ass.
No.
Average nobody's versus Montante's world. I'll say it. If it comes down to it, I'm average nobody's. I'll fucking say it. I will blow up Montante's world.
I actually do like Montante's world. Since you've turned me on to his podcast, I do enjoy it.
It's a fun little thing to listen to.
It is
crazy conservative rant about vaccines. I know I say this every time. I like to play a game every single podcast. I like start a timer to see how long until he mentions some sort of vaccine.
Yeah.
And it's normally like 30 seconds.
There was this comedian on TikTok for a while that he would promote his dates for like where he's going to be.
Yep.
But while he did it, he would start it. He was like, all right, this is day whatever of me watching a video until they add crockpot recipe video until they add a whole block of cream cheese. Because I guess that's the thing that people do in crockpot recipes a lot. They just add a huge block of cream. And he'll be talking. And like sometimes it'll be like 5 seconds. Sometimes it'll be like instantaneous. Like cream cheese in, video done. Like he just ends the video.
I like that.
So he'll be in the middle of his dates and it'll just be, that's it. It's over.
I like that. So one of the things, is there like an echo in my...
Do you hear an echo?
A little bit. Can you like turn down my headphones a little bit?
Yeah.
Maybe that. Yeah, maybe.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
That's good.
You sound all right over here.
Perfect. So it's funny. Last week, Montante asked me, he's like, would you want Tom Brady back for one more year as a Patriot? And I was like, no. I was like, let's just let the dude stay retired. And he's not staying retired.
Oh, no, he's not. He's back with my boys.
Yeah. I don't know how to, I wasn't like disgusted by it. But it's kind of like, okay, so you never retired, but you also like, I think he blew his load on the whole like tip of the cap, like, thank you, Tom, tour.
Yeah, I think it would have been. Can
you turn me up a little bit more?
Yeah, sorry.
A little bit. Keep going. Good, right there.
Good, right there.
Yep,
Do you still hear an echo?
No, I'm good.
You're good. My thought on it is, it would have been way worse if he did what most athletes do and be like, hey, this is my last year, and then all the fanfare of his
I agree
last
with that.
year. And I think also, if you go back and look at Tom Brady's posts and shit, like, yeah, he was stepping away from football. He was, but he never actually made a concrete, like, I am retired. You know what I mean? Like,
I guess.
So like, and I will not, like, it was very obvious that he said he was leaving football. I'm not going to defend him in that. But at least it wasn't one of those things where clearly he decided he made the wrong decision. And it wasn't one of those things where like Jeter had a retirement ceremony at every fucking ballpark he played at.
Okay.
Before, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That would have been like,
okay. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I just think that, I don't know. I mean, it's like, I can't knock a guy for like coming back and then making whatever he's going to make, $30 million or whatever, however stupid amount the Bucks are paying him, which is completely worth it.
Yeah, I think he's getting about half of what Aaron Rodgers is getting.
Yeah, which is fucking
25
unreal.
Or something like
so it's like, I don't know, but it's like, I don't want to do this whole, like, he better not, like, his next time he, like, retires or steps away from football, like, he better step away from football. Like, he better not do this thing where it's, like, every single year, it's like, even though the media is going to do this, like after his last playoff game, or if he wins the Super Bowl, it's going to be like, Tom, are you done? I mean, they've been asking him that since the fucking Seattle game.
This is obviously a hypothetical argument because it can't be made because he's the greatest football player of all time and he's such a large figure in football media. But if this was just some random Joe Schmo that was like a decent player on a team, like a role player, right? And every year starting like about this time when he's like, you know what, maybe it's time for me to hang it up. I've done all I wanted to do. every year is kind of like he takes the off season. It was like, I should think about it. Is it just exasperated because he's Tom Brady?
Probably.
Right? I mean, it has to be. But
I do think he liked getting his dick sucked a little bit there, where everyone was like, "Thank you, Tom. Oh, can't believe it's over."
I could see that.
When like the Jets are tweeting like, "Thank God it's over." Haha. Just kidding. We like all this other stupid shit. But it's, I don't know. It is what it is. I can't wait for football to start back up.
I can't wait to see Aaron Rodgers go back to him. I can't wait to see Aaron Rodgers justify his $50 million a year salary with Tom Brady back in the league. How do you do that?
I don't know. I think Aaron Rodgers, to his point,
even Mahomes is only making like 40 a year, but it was 400 million over 10 years, so he's making like 40 a year.
Yeah, but it's still like, I think to the point like Aaron Rodgers would be like, I don't have to justify shit, suck my dick.
Yeah, well,
like I don't think he cares. Like,
no, I don't think he cares either. But I think he has thin skin for the people that are critical of his play, though.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
But at the end of the day, he's going to walk away with $200 million in 4 years. So
that's fucking wild.
$200 million.
That's wild.
4 years. I mean, that's almost as good as the deal as Kirk gave Big Cat today on the phone.
Yeah, what was it? Yeah,
4 years, 250 million.
Yeah. Oh no! At first,
it was a
three.
year.
It was 3 years, 150 million, and it was like, the cat was like,
Yeah.
Don't know how I can say no to that.
Yeah, right.
But there's a whole bunch of stuff I want to get to. So I watched the calls thing that you recommended to me a couple weeks ago.
So what do you think?
It was good. It was
Right?
interesting. I think watching it makes it like so. I was watching it while I was in Connecticut, and I was in like a dark room, like
For
on
those
my
of you who
phone.
don't know, it's called Calls. It's on Apple TV
Yes.
Plus. It's a show.
And it's a show, but it's like it's pretty much like an audio medium where they just take these phone calls and they add like waveforms to them, but they're like super cool waveforms. Like they're not just like your basic like straight line. It's
Like I was saying last week or 2 weeks ago when I was explaining it to you, it kind of tells the story a little bit without having to have pictures.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, I could like there were some parts like I don't truly like understand it. Like, is there going to be a season 2 where they delve into it more? Because like at one point they were talking. So pretty much the genesis of it is that like phone calls are able to like traverse time. So I could be like calling someone, like I could be on my phone calling someone. I could call my grandfather, let's say, just to hear him, just to like hear his voicemail or whatever. But like he would pick up from like 5 years ago.
Yeah. Pretty wild shit.
Or like he could call me like 5 years like he or like you can call him like in the future.
Yeah.
So it was like, I don't know. It was interesting. If you have Apple TV Plus, definitely check it out. I'd probably give it like 8 out of 10. I think it was a good solid 8 out of 10.
I think that's solid. I really liked it when I watched it. I'd have to go back and rewatch it, but now you're saying it again, it's jogging things in my mind that I thought it really blew my mind when I first watched it. Not only that it was like, I mean, it being audio only, pretty much, is not groundbreaking. I listen to podcasts.
No.
But I thought the story was super interesting.
Yeah,
I thought it was cool they were able to tell it without it.
So I
without
looked it up, and
visuals.
did you know it's like a remake of like a French thing?
Oh, I didn't know that.
So it was like there was a French TV show that was pretty much the exact same thing, except obviously bonjour, snail, Eiffel Tower, whatever they were saying in there. But so it's a remake of that.
Croissant.
So exactly. So I'm not entirely sure where they're gonna go, but it was interesting. It was definitely interesting.
Yeah. I just thought it was super unique, and I thought that if I was gonna suggest something to you, that was it.
You gotta suggest something to me again today.
Okay, I can
That's
get
like
something.
the thing.
By the end of the show, I got.
By the end of the
something
show.
for you.
Now,
Yeah.
but I do want to hear. Did you watch?
Okay. So
Did you watch?
this is gonna be a large majority of the show because I did.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, the one thing that I kept coming back to when I would watch this is the one word, 3 letters, and a question mark of why. I want to know why. I understand that the story is interesting, and I don't want to know so it's why did they make this, but it's also why am I enthralled with this?
That's the thing.
Right.
That's the thing. Because Matt, you try. Okay, so if people don't know, I had him watch.
It's a documentary about this person called Chris Chan.
Christian Weston Chandler. There's a documentary on YouTube, and it's called Chris Chan, a comprehensive history. I believe they're up to like 60 parts.
60 parts right now. I'm still only the first one, but
It is a deep dive into this man's life of literally from when he was born, and things are still going on like today.
So that's my so so I want to talk about the filmmaker, the guy
Okay.
who put this together. You just know him from this.
Correct.
He's not a YouTuber in any other sense.
Correct. He makes like music, I
Okay.
think. Gino Samuel.
Yeah.
But like people know him from this.
Where did he get all the information?
Oh, the information's everywhere. Oh, there's
So is he just one of those? So this is so it didn't quite in the first installment. I understand that he is a very like journaled person. It reminds me of I listened to this podcast called it was a crime podcast called Cold.
okay.
It's about this guy who ends up fucked up shit with his family. But in it,
That wouldn't happen with Kristen.
but well, in it he writes journals. He videotapes himself. He leaves audio logs on his computer. And when after the story is over, the police are able to basically piece his entire life together day by day. So
Pretty much.
Is Chris Chan just been online for? Is he like a Web 1.0 person?
Correct.
Okay,
Like,
that's
there's I think it's in like part like 3 or 4 where like he could have been the first like Let's Player.
okay. So that's the missing link there. Is that I guess I didn't have the context of who he was or he or she.
He at the time,
He-
currently
right
she.
now as I'm watching, it's he.
He, and it's going to be he for like 40 parts.
Okay, so I guess I didn't quite realize that he was such a like he was you know birth of the internet type person.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
And people just really got into it. And
highly functioning autistic.
yes, HFA. Did you get to the part where he's in his Animal Crossing town?
There's a section on Animal Crossing. I don't know if he's in his town.
Oh,
at this
well, like
point.
he makes a town and it's called Quickville.
No.
And there's a part where he's like, oh, like, because on the board you can like write little messages and it says HFA, and he's like, you might be wondering what HFA stands for. That's high functioning autist.
There you go.
And it's like, it's just so interesting. This
But-
man and this person's life. Because there are so many twists and turns. There are so many people that he fucks with, and then there are so many people that fuck with him.
Like this documentary filmmaker. What's his name?
Gino Samuel.
Gino Samuel knows that at age 5 or 6, this girl moved into his neighborhood and like would fuck with him and like lock him under her house. But like, how, like, is
So,
this something that Chris Chan
This
like
is something
just
that
tells?
happens. Yes, Chris Chan would just literally go in front of a camera every day and just start talking
Okay.
random nonsense and would talking. Have you gotten to like at any of the Sonichu stuff?
Yes.
Do you know who Sonic?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So the beginning of his Sonic infatuation began with that he won a KB Toys $1,000 like shopping
spending
spree
spree.
on just Sonic stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, how much Sonic stuff did they have at KB Toys in the '90s or late '80s, early '90s that he was able to spend $1,000 on Sonic things? Even if you go like adjacent, even if you get like a Sega Genesis, which wasn't out at that time, a Sega Genesis and Sonic games, like
It's gonna be like $400.
like yeah, but what are you spending $1,000?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But the whole thing is just so interesting, and so I want you to. I mean, obviously, like continue watching it if you want to. It's super interesting. There are some parts where like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I could already. I'm trying to think of some of the other things I pulled from it, like some of the high points. So obviously his dad was kind of a weird guy.
Was a little bit on the strange side.
He was a little bit on the strange side where like, he wrote
R.I.P..
He wrote Chris a letter, like kind of explaining how he should treat his belongings. Like how he explains how, well the Gino Samuel explains how his dad had this razor blade given to him by his father that he broke, and because he didn't realize the value of it, but he still kept it on him because it was something his grandfather or father gave to him. And then essentially he wrote this journal entry to give to Chris about like how you should learn the value of my things and how you should know how to use them. And
Yeah.
you're laughing.
Because just the whole thing is just fucking
Yeah.
wild. Just the more you think about it, there's an incident with like people like dressing up like pickles. Things get shoved up people's asses.
Yeah, it's a why. I can already.
You're gonna
tell
learn
it's
about
a-
recycling, and you're gonna fucking want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Just remember that recycling. Okay, remember that Chris Chan is a big fan of recycling something
Oh,
because he thinks you
God.
only have a finite amount of it.
Yeah. I don't even want to know. honestly.
So
So I looked ahead. I didn't look ahead. I searched about Chris Chan because
okay,
I needed to know.
you didn't have
more.
like 60 hours just
No,
laying
well,
around.
I honestly, truly, I don't know if I'll watch all of it, but I will go back and continue watching part 2. What is his deal currently? Where is he at right now?
Sorry,
Where
you're
is
fine.
she at right now?
She is currently in jail.
Okay, for the crimes that I read about.
Probably. Because there are a couple of times he got like kicked out of a GameStop for like starting fights and like so. At one point he went into a GameStop and he really didn't like the color of Sonic's arms, of like the new Sonic Boom character's arms. So he made a mission where he would go into every single game store with a Sharpie, take the sleeve out, color in Sonic's arms, put it back in, and leave. And he got the police called on him. So is that the crime you're talking about?
Not quite.
Okay.
I'm more talking about the forced incest.
His dementia-ridden mother, of whom she was fucking for a while.
Yes.
Until
that is what
people.
I'm more
Okay.
referring to.
Yeah, no. She's currently in jail over that.
Okay.
So
And how long ago was that? Did she go to jail?
5 months ago.
Oh, really? Super recent.
Yeah,
Oh,
super.
shit.
Dude, I'm telling you, like this stuff is fucking wild. It's just, it's
Wow.
never like I've been into it for a good like 4 years now.
Here's the other thing I didn't look at. Does Christian have a YouTube channel that's still up? Or like, where is all this? Where?
So
Can I-
everything was just documented. Like he would put something up like on his YouTube, and like people would just download it. Like there's literally like a like Wikipedia, it's CWCpedia, and it has everything.
Okay.
It just has like its
Because-
whole.
Because all of the videos I find on YouTube, when you search Chris Chan, everything you find is mostly that
It's
60
like a-
part documentary
yes.
or other
something of the like.
podcasts. Yeah.
So
None of his content.
Yeah, so I think they currently have a Patreon. I think, but I think for the most part things just keep, because believe it or not, this person, Chris, would violate a lot of like terms and conditions. So a lot of things would get like taken down.
Yeah.
Had like their eBay account removed because they were selling things they shouldn't have been selling. Just a whole lot of just fucking crazy. If you're listening and you get the chance and you have like 60 hours to kill, Chris Chan, A Comprehensive History is fucking wild. It's not for the faint of heart.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know anything about this person, and I can't believe it wasn't even like in my peripherals.
Dude, it's like, it's because you're either in or you're out.
Yeah, I guess.
Like
so.
no one's like, oh yeah, I've heard of Chris Chan before. I've heard of Sonic Jew before.
Oh my
you
God.
know,
I wish I hadn't. Truly.
But it's like once you like dip a toe in, you get like yanked in,
Done.
and then it's the most. It is impossible to explain to people what it is without them watching it.
Oh, I can imagine.
So like
I
that's why like 2 weeks ago I was like, you just got to watch it. I can't explain it. You're like, what is this? And I was like, I really can't explain it to you. It's just fucking wild.
Yeah, I mean,
Because if you start explaining it to someone, you sound fucking insane.
Yeah. I honestly, I was waiting. I was kept watching, and about like 15 minutes in, I was expecting this to just be like a made up thing. Like this is a made up person.
Yep.
Like this is just a made up documentary, and Justin's fucking with me. And oh, you got me, Justin. Good one. I was like, what the fuck? So
No.
it's
no.
odd for sure, and I will keep watching. And honestly, fucking Geno Samuel has a very calming.
Oh, it's a
voice.
great voice.
Great narration for the documentary, and it's well put together for what it is. It's just crazy to me that this is
No, it's a very well made documentary.
for something that you could do a 60-part documentary on. I'd be like, okay, so you got World War II,
Yeah.
and you know, and all these
Yep.
other like crazy historical events, and then Chris Chan.
Chris Chan.
What the
Pretty
fuck?
much.
What the fuck?
I mean, you can fucking like you can go more in depth on Chris Chan than you can like the 2020 presidential election.
well, that's what I'm talking about. It's like this is like the stuff that he divulged, which then was turned into information and put out as a documentary, is so in depth because of just like he just must have let it fly.
Yeah, you just let everything
Everything.
fly. Yep.
It's crazy. That's a you know what though? That's a lot of web 1.0 people too.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of people that like those original like people on YouTube and like people before that just on message boards and things.
Yep.
There's a lot of people that they just dumped everything on there.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the documentary. It's not. This is not what I'm going to recommend to you this week. But it's called like Tickle Me. It's on Amazon Prime. It's about this guy who would just get like college boys to like get tickled and would pay them like thousands of dollars.
No.
Oh, it's great.
What is this?
It's called like
I'm looking this up. Tickle Me documentary.
it's just called like look up like Tickle.
2006.
No.
Tickled
Is it Tickled?
documentary mystery.
New Zealand?
Uh,
Yes. Yep. It's called Tickled.
yeah.
Yep. It's incredible of what like people will just put online. And especially like so in this Tickled documentary, there's this super rich guy who would reach out to like D3, D2 like college boys and be like, "Hey, I will give you thousands of dollars. You just got to like work with me here for a little bit." And they were like, "I don't know about this." So he'd be like, "Okay, I'll just send you a check. I'll just send you $500 in cash to your dorm room." So like these kids would be like, "What the fuck?" Like these are like college freshmen, sophomores who are like, "Dude, I just got $500 cash from this dude, and like I don't even know what the fuck he wants." Then he would be like, "Oh, okay, so we're having like this tickle shoot at this place, and I'll give you like $3,000 if you come." And he would just like it was porn, but it wasn't porn. Like there wasn't any like dicks or anything, quote unquote. Obviously, it was like sexual.
There's a fetish.
Yes, but these kids would go and do it, and then get like $3,000, and then they'd be like, "Okay, I don't want to do this anymore. Like I don't want to be like into the tickle thing." He'd be like, "Oh really?" He'd be like, "Oh really? Oh really, Matt?" Like say like your first last name, and be like, "Oh really?" It would suck if your job found out all these videos. So he would like blackmail people into like making more and more of these videos, and it would like
Honestly,
turn to this whole thing.
I might keep doing it.
I don't know. The whole thing was pretty fucking weird if you watch it. Like it's it's wild. But the whole thing. So the
Tickling a guy for couple $1,000 a pop.
no, you're getting tickled.
Oh, I'm getting tickled.
Correct. You're getting tickled by like some other hot college guy.
Oh, so the college guys are tickling each other.
Correct.
And he's just watching.
And there's like restraints, and there's all these other sorts of things. Like you might wear like a diaper in one. It's very weird. But the funniest thing is so the guy who made the documentary is a homosexual, and so he found out, he heard that these things were happening, so he reached out to like the company, and he was like, blah, 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 and they were like, no. And then they looked up who the reporter was, and they were like, we don't deal with homosexuals. And he was like, listen, he was like, I'm not saying like things need to be on a binary of straight or gay, but a bunch of men getting together and tickling each other in their underwear is very homosexual.
Yeah, I would say
It was very funny. If you get I think it's on Amazon Prime, check it out, Tickled. But I have another request for you to watch this week. But I wanted to congratulate you on winning the Average Nobody's draft.
Thank you.
From this past week.
I appreciate you appreciating the number one pick of Windows
I mean,
Down.
you have to.
It is the only
I
move.
almost did it today. It's still a little bit too cold. But yeah.
It has, because you can put a Windows down. Today was a nice day. You can put Windows down today. So we did a draft of spring things. We called
Correct.
it. So your favorite things in the spring, whether it be food, activities, feelings, whatever. My first overall pick, which was I was first.
Yep.
Was Windows down. They didn't even have that on their list.
That's wild.
Crazy. So even if I didn't go first, I would have been able to pick it. But there's a feeling, because you could put it down today, and it was a pretty nice day, but it's still not that right, perfect temperature. And it might be different for everybody.
Correct.
But you put it down, and it's like, oh, yeah, this is
And
perfect.
you put it down, you don't have to put it back up. Like
No.
today is like a day where maybe you get in the car and you're driving on your side street a little bit, and you're like, oh yeah, this is fine. And then you like start picking up more speed, and you're like, oh, I'm getting fucking cold.
Yeah, Windows out.
No. I completely agree.
Do we miss anything that you might have added?
Did you guys not have like the sun setting later?
Oh, good question. Well, I think in one of ours, we equated like a day of day drinking to being better because days get longer. But I don't think we talked about that specifically.
And I thought the the second best pick was probably the fresh cut grass. It wasn't by you. It was by
Ryan, I think.
Ryan.
Yeah, fresh cut grass is a very good one, but I have to still, again, I will reiterate, I wish I could just smell the fresh cut grass and not hear my neighbors mow their lawns at fucking 6 a.m.
I agree with that. I personally love mowing my lawn. I think mowing your lawn is something like you love to do, you hate when other people are doing it. This is like
Yeah.
it's like I personally like it. I enjoy it. The buzz, even though it's going to cost like $50 to mow a
Right.
lawn.
Well,
this summer.
invest in your electric mowers, everybody.
Yeah.
You know what's an underrated thing, and this is not necessarily spring, but I like to a summer night, like say around 7 p.m., maybe after dinner. I like to cut around then. When the day is
cutting.
when,
Yes.
when the day is cooling off, it's still light out for
Yep.
the most part, but it's just like getting to dusk.
I agree.
And you're cutting the grass, and like, you know, maybe people are out in the neighborhood. I think that's just like a really as opposed to early in the morning.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I don't think grass should be cut early in the morning. That's because you know what I like to do after I cut grass is I just like to jump in my parents' pool.
There you go.
It's fucking awesome.
That's the move. I wish I still had a pool.
Oh, but no, the draft was check out Average Nobodies. Like, I'm not just sucking your dick. I think it's a
Thank you.
it's a
I
fun
appreciate
show.
that. We had 2 episodes out this week. We started doing a Batman.
That's what I wanted to talk
review
about.
and talk through, and then it went too long, so we have 2 episodes. We have a review of the Batman, and we have our Spring Things draft along with celebrity birthday riddles.
So I saw Batman like the Wednesday it came out. Like even before.
You saw the day before I saw it. I saw it Thursday.
Correct. I saw it the day it came out. So like, and there was only one showing. I went to Dedham, Showcase Dedham.
Okay.
So like, you know, like no one was like accidentally walking into that theater. Like no one was like, oh, let's go see the Batman. Like these were all like people who like could get like instead of seeing like the pre-show on Thursdays, they were seeing the pre-show on Wednesday.
Right.
So like these were like all hardcore Batman fans.
Yeah.
And I think it's getting a little bit too much praise. I enjoyed it. I just don't think it was like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
So that's interesting because I've been seeing people mimic your feelings, but they saw it like yesterday and the day before, and they're starting to see everybody gush about it, and they're like, well, I don't know about that. But you saw it before anybody really had a feeling on it.
And I saw it. My first takeaway was, this is a Zack Snyder movie. Like this is how the Zack Snyder Batman should have went down. When I watched that movie, and this is not a bad thing either. Like I'll talk about the things I liked about it. I'll talk about the things I didn't.
There wasn't enough slow motion for this to be a Zack Snyder film.
Okay, I agree with that. But literally, like the first scene, they could have just dubbed over Rorschach's journal. The streets are scum. You know, like I want to save this city. No one wants to be saved.
That opening is I really enjoyed
Watchmen?
that. Yes.
I watched Watchmen last night.
Yeah.
I watch it. It's currently on Netflix. It's also on HBO Max. It's leaving Netflix March 31st. Go, like if you haven't seen it, it's not a great. It's one of my favorite movies. It's not like one of the best made movies. I can understand what problems people have with it. But I love it. I watch it like probably like once every couple months. Watched it last night just because I was thinking about the Batman, and so I watched it to just similarities. I think it's very, very similar. I do like the darkness of it, of the Batman.
Yeah.
I think all the actors, for the most part, did a fantastic job. I'm on your side, where I was afraid that they were just going to make a Joker out of the Riddler, where it's like, I love Batman. I think Batman has the best villains just because there's like so much difference and they're all so unique and they're all like, some of them aren't bad. Some of them are just in a bad, like you look at like Mr. Freeze, for example, like he's just trying to help like save his wife, but then like he has to go do fucked up shit. Then you take someone like the Joker who just likes to see chaos. And then you like take someone like the Riddler who like there's a method to his madness. Yeah. So I was afraid they were just going to make him be like, oh, fucking batshit crazy. I think what's his face, Paul Dano, did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Afterwards, I couldn't get that fucking Ave Maria song stuck out of my head. I was listening to it on the car ride home.
Did you notice that in the credits, you know how they do the music credits? So they'll show you songs and who they're performed by. There's an Ave Maria performed by Paul Dano.
Really?
Credited in the credits.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with this, and I think you kind of touched on it, was that like I don't believe that this Bruce Wayne fucks.
Yeah, he's not there yet.
Like I think
Kind of a nerd.
yeah, like I think he's kind of like he doesn't really have friends. He just seems to be kind of chilling with his butler all the time. He's very smart. I don't see him like going out and like just getting pussy.
Like if he had cut to like what Christian Bale used to do, and like all of a sudden he's going to a fundraiser in his tuxedo in a Lamborghini
With
I would
two
not, right,
super hot chicks.
I would have never believed it.
Correct.
Because of who this Batman is. Right.
I do think the whole idea of like his parents like not knowing like how like why his parents died. Like I like the idea that Batman's parents were killed by just some fucking jagoff in the street.
Yeah.
By like some petty criminal, and that's why Gotham sucks. It wasn't because, you know, they were involved in this whole slush fund thing that they didn't want available. And also while I do think Zoe Kravitz was great as Catwoman, I don't think her character like adds anything to the story.
You know what? I thought about that.
I think
do
like
think she was great as Catwoman, but I think I agree with you that they kind of like created this. I don't believe that Catwoman would have so quickly befriended a person that she had no idea who it was.
especially like a Batman.
A vigilante. Yeah, right. Like another person like her, she wouldn't have trusted him for a second.
No.
And they kind of like get along. They get along chummy pretty quick. Even though he does prove himself over the course of the movie, they're pretty chummy from the beginning.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think there was like I don't know what she added to the movie.
Well, I mean, you get her. I guess you could have done it a different way, but you also like the whole reason why he gets into the Iceberg Lounge, or he gets more information about the Iceberg Lounge. Is that what it was called, the Iceberg Lounge?
I think it was like negative. Like the Iceberg Lounge, I think was another part.
Where the Penguin is and where Falcone is.
Yeah.
The reason why he gets more intel about that is because of her, I guess. You know,
And
instead of
I
him
don't know,
constantly
like
knocking on the door and beating people up.
like you're telling me that there's this giant club that just all the politicians go to and get fucking super high, and like everyone's just no, we don't talk about it.
So that didn't make sense to me either. I'm like, okay, I understand this is a seedy city and people are fucking corrupt, but this is just like out in the open. Like this guy just has his car parked right outside the club, the DA, and he's just gonna go out to his car afterwards.
Yeah,
I don't think
and
so.
it's like okay, there are hundreds of people in here. You're telling me like someone didn't see like, oh, the mayor's dead. No one has he has no connections to anything. Apparently, he was a God-fearing man. It's like, oh no, actually, he goes to the club with his mistress and fucks her in the bathroom.
But now introduce the part that is Falcone basically runs the city and all of the important political seats. Then I start believing that, okay, it doesn't really matter. They can do whatever the fuck they want and it won't matter.
Yeah.
They got the media in their pocket. They have everybody in their pockets. Besides the very small group of police officers that are still with, good. And also as the people that Paul Dano, the Riddler, start taking down, the more they get taken down, the more people that are good rise to power. You have the mayor-elect.
Yep.
That woman, I forget her name.
The black woman.
Yes. People like that. So I at first it didn't make sense, but thinking about it later, I'm like, okay, it would make sense that these politicians don't give a fuck what they're doing because they're protected, super protected. And before the Riddler started killing people, they probably were living a super cushy life, not worrying about a fucking thing.
I'm sure, but the part I didn't believe was like, okay, so they're doing like political killings, and then the DA is just like, the mayor was killed like yesterday, and then this guy's like at the fucking
that's
like doing these like droplet things or whatever.
But they also probably, I mean, as the DA, I bet you probably feel safest at that club rather than at your apartment where the fucking mayor got killed the night before or whatever. I don't know.
I don't know. The whole
I don't know. Yeah, I get where you're coming from, though.
And then I don't like the idea that like Batman kind of at the end there, he's kind of like, how I can help out is I can, join FEMA. That's pretty much what he's like lowering, he's like helping people onto helicopters and stuff like that. It's like, okay, like that's a nice, like touching story and everything like that. But I don't think that's like what Batman should be.
The one big thing that jumped out at me is a little wonky that I've since kind of come around on was the fact that the Riddler had this like online following. And at first he didn't seem like the type of criminal that needed to have a following. Yep. He was like a do it himself type person. Mm-hmm. And he was like, he hated people. He didn't want to be associated with anybody because of the way he was treated his entire life. It was all about what he was doing, and he wanted credit himself. So immediately when I start seeing his like essentially a 4chan thread of like
Yep.
people like egging him on, and essentially a friend of mine, shout out to Chad, he kind of equated it to, remember when that horrible like shooting happened in the mosque and that guy was live streaming it?
Oh yeah, he shout out PewDiePie or something.
And yeah, and he was shouting out all these people, and people were in his chat being like, yeah, fuck yeah, like rooting him
Yeah,
on.
yep.
Like it was a direct like, so that kind of made sense. But I just didn't like the Paul Dano Riddler that I knew at the beginning of the Batman movie. When that happened, it was kind of like a guitar string breaking. I was like, oh, he has like groupies? That's kind of weird.
And
but,
like-
but I do get it now.
And I do think it was first of all, it's a long ass movie, but I don't hold that against it. But I do think there were some parts that were kind of rushed. It was like, oh, we got to the Riddler's house. Oh, he escaped. 911. Yeah, I saw this creepy guy go
Yeah.
into the coffee shop.
But that could have also been him calculating, wanting to be caught, whatever. You know, it is what it is.
I thought they were going to go with like a twin thing at the end there.
Oh, there was multiple people.
That it was going to be like multiple Riddlers.
Well, I mean, it ends up being kind of that way, but not.
And when
not
you
the
know
way
when he starts beating, when Batman beats the shit out of that guy, he's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm Vengeance." And I'm like, "Okay, we get it. Like, yeah, really good job." Whatever the director's name is,
Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves, who I like. But it was like, and also, I mean, I know they had to do it, and the theater started cheering, and oh my god, can you believe it? And I was like sitting in the theater like, fucking course. When they're like, oh, when Riddler's caught, he's in Arkham Asylum, and who's he talking to?
Oh yeah.
When they're like, oh, who?
I'll be honest. In my opinion, it's cool. I'm excited that they're
It's
like
cool.
teasing new.
Oh,
but
it's
it was
cool.
it was ham-fisted.
It
for
was
sure.
like, oh, what does he say? He's
you
like,
could have done something way
sometimes
clever.
he's like,
more clever.
sometimes you just turn into something, and people sometimes call you like a clown.
Yeah.
And he starts laughing a little bit, and it's like, okay, I guess. Yep, we had to, because I mean, Joker's as big of a brand as fucking Batman is.
Yeah.
So like,
I wouldn't have hated them going in a different direction, to be honest.
I would have loved an entire Batman movie, and like I did like the
like
presence of the
for
Joker.
for future Batman movies. It looks like it's going Joker, but I wish they had kind of gone.
It'd be great if like the next Batman movie, the guy gets like thrown in Arkham Asylum. It's just like Joker is just stuck in Arkham Asylum
Yeah,
the entire time, just
he never
talking.
takes off.
He just always talks to the main character for like 30 seconds. But like I liked the presence of Joker, like when Batman goes and beats up that gang in the literally in the first scene, where it's like they're all dressed in like Joker makeup, but like he's not there. It's kind of just assumed like he's busy doing something currently. I thought that part was kind of stupid.
I've been watching videos on TikTok of people talking about Batman, but I kind of found this theory that I am so convinced of now, that the dude
Yeah.
is part of that gang is
Yeah,
going to be
the
Robin.
one with the half face. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that with the. What was he wearing?
He's like a red hood. He's
A
wearing
red hood. Yeah, who would have thought? Yeah. Yeah, no, I saw that. I think Robbie Fox tweeted it out, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's 100% what's going to happen."
I think it. I'd be very disappointed if they immediately the next movie they just defaulted to a Joker mainline story. I kind of
They
wish.
probably will.
Yeah, probably. But it wouldn't hurt if they kind of did like there's a clear connection to Bane Venom towards the end of the movie when Batman injects himself with what you would assume is Bane Venom
Mhm.
or like some kind of adrenaline shot.
Yep.
And he gets like super enraged. I wouldn't mind a Hush direction.
I'd love a Hush direction.
They also tease that.
Yep.
I wouldn't hate Calendar Man. Like there's a lot of inspiration from the Long Halloween.
Calendar Man will be tough because it would either have to be like a long Halloween thing,
Because that, but the Calendar Man perfectly, and maybe you don't want to do a direct like another serial killer type fucking movie, but that's what Calendar Man would be. Start crimes on holidays.
Yeah,
You'd have to. The pacing of it would.
it would
be off.
definitely have to be like, because this takes place within like a week.
Yeah, it would
or
have to be
two.
a longer.
It would have to be like, I don't know.
And then the other thing is, I hope they don't jump too far ahead. I kind of like inexperienced Batman. I want to see his next steps. I don't necessarily want to see him 10 steps ahead. I want to see him like upgrade the Batmobile. Like
Oh, I agree.
small things. I don't want to see like a huge leap.
Yeah, I want to see him like
Yeah.
find Robin and do shit. But like also, I'd like it if Gotham isn't flooded.
Yeah, that would be weird. Yeah, I don't need a Venice Gotham scene.
So, that's kind of all my thoughts on Batman. It was good. I mean, it was like, but I just don't think people were like, oh, it's up there with like the Dark Knight. Like I was blown the fuck away when I saw the Dark Knight, and I maybe a little bit of it had to do with like age, because I think God, I must have been like 12 or 13 when it came
Yeah,
out.
that was probably prime years for you.
Yeah, so it was like holy shit, and it was kind of like a huge cinematic experience, and also like the fact knowing like Joker, like the actor's dead. I mean, you can say that it doesn't add anything to it, but it definitely was like, oh, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought about that too. Like watching it, you knew he was dead. So
But I would take any of the Nolan trilogy
The
over.
s- the Batman score, this new one,
Oh, it's great.
is incredible. I love it so much. I listen to it all the time.
Oh, it's great.
I listen to it constantly.
Oh, it's great.
It's so brooding and
I
menacing.
I
It's
listened to the
great.
Joker score when that first came out. The Joker, the movie Joker, that was a movie where I was blown away when I saw it in theaters. Doesn't hold up as well the second time you see it. It's still a great movie, but it's not like holy shit.
Yeah.
This is fucking incredible.
Do you think that Joker could fit in this Gotham?
See, I wish like it. Yes, it could, because I do think that this Gotham was pretty much a 2020 version of the 1980s Gotham in Joker. I like things like, I think, have you ever seen any of the animated Batman movies?
Yeah, a few.
They're so good. Like,
Yeah.
have you like the most recent ones are like, they're so good, and the thing that makes them so great is like they're like stories that are like on their own. A couple of the movies like connect together, but like you can have a Batman Year One that just isn't connected to anything else, and I think that that's what like the Joker movie should be. They don't need to connect it with all these other things, and I understand that there's more money in connecting it, or if in the Batman 2, fucking what's his name is like the archetype for like, so someone told me that the Joker gang that was in Boston is based off of the fuck's the actor's name from Joker?
Joaquin Phoenix?
Joaquin Phoenix. So he kind of got arrested and he got thrown away in the 80s, and like there's been gangs who like his ideology, and like they wear his face paint and go beat up like rich dudes. But then what happened was this guy who's in the asylum, people keep calling him Joker, people keep calling him a clown and blah blah blah. So he eventually like turns in. This guy's more like like trained in the military. So he kind of turns into the Joker. Like I don't think he was caught as Joker, like the guy who's currently in the asylum.
Yeah.
At least this is what one of my buddies was telling me.
Well, he's on the younger side for sure.
Yeah,
than
younger.
any other Jokers we've seen.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I just think that we already got like the best Batman experience of our lives, and that's not even the Dark Knight trilogy. I think it's the Arkham games. I think the Arkham games are so well done. I think you can't get better peak Batman than like Arkham City, Arkham Knight, Arkham Asylum. I think they are so fucking good.
I started playing Arkham Asylum. I haven't finished. I just
Oh.
recently started playing it, like within the last year.
Oh, you gotta. I just replayed. I literally just replayed Arkham City. They're so good. It's one of those games where it's very Bioshocky, where like two NPCs will be talking, and you just want to sit there and like just listen to them talk for like 3 minutes because they'll
Yeah.
be just going off on random nonsense.
It's cool. I like it. I got pulled away from with different games, so that's why I haven't finished.
Oh, I gotta do this ad read for forgot about it.
Bring it up.
I'll pop this in at the beginning. So I talked about it on the live stream with Montante. So we're lucky to be sponsored by Kale Jack. So for 40 years, Kale Jack has been the premier industrial supplier in northern New England. They are a proud, family-oriented company headquartered in Portland. They proudly distribute quality brands such as Lennox, 3M, DeWalt, and strong, durable, American-made Viking brand drill bits and cutting tools. So, Matt, prices are going up everywhere. Things are like, my grandfather was fucking bullshit today. He made us pork. And do you like to put applesauce in pork? Or like,
With
yeah.
Yeah.
He went to Shaw's, went to Stop and Shop, no applesauce.
no applesauce.
So unfortunately, Kale Jack doesn't have applesauce. But if you are sick of skyrocketing prices and vendors never having anything on the shelves, you got to head over to kljack.com right now and use promo code TIM10 to get 10% off your first online order. So you're a handyman. You like to do shit around the house, correct?
Yeah, I consider myself a handyman.
So like they have fucking drill bits, cutting tools, clamps, fasteners, a whole bunch of just like man shit.
I'm
So,
into that.
it's,
I'm also very intrigued by a company that is not just being like, oh, you know, we don't have it in stock. I like that they are.
Yeah,
They have it.
they have it.
Yeah.
They have it. So whether you have a job site, factory, diesel truck shop, power plant, school, waterworks, or precast concrete plant, KL Jack has the quality fasteners, abrasives, safety products, cutting tools, and chemicals you need to keep costs down and keep rolling.
Oh yeah.
So go to kljack.com right now, promo code TIM10, TIM10 for 10% off your first online order. They have locations in Manchester, New Hampshire, Portland, Maine, Auburn, Maine, Gardner, Maine, and Bangor, Maine. TIM10 at kljack.com for 10% off something you were already paying way too much for. And shout out Tim Ridgolds. He's a great Minifan. He's helped me out with a lot of shit. So
Oh, I will definitely keep this place in mind.
yeah, totally.
I'm looking at the website right now.
Check
They got
them
all
out.
types of
Yeah,
great
they got a
shit.
whole bunch of shit. So if you have this, like, especially if you have like some sort of job site, check them out. What else?
Do you want me to give you my recommendation for the
Yeah,
week?
yeah. Because you give me yours first, then I'll give you mine.
KLJack.com actually just reminded me of it.
Oh,
I think it'd be a perfect fit in.
let me
So-
guess. I'm not gonna guess. Am I?
You might. I was gushing about it on Twitter, I think, earlier this week. Maybe I wasn't actually. Maybe I just retweeted it a couple times. But there's this new show on Netflix, came out a couple Fridays ago, called Making Fun.
Making fun.
Making Fun. So I described it to somebody as Mythbusters meets Master Chef Junior combined.
Okay.
So here's what it is. So Jimmy DiResta is one of my favorite YouTubers. He calls himself a maker. He's a carpenter, welder. He's an artist. He does all this crazy shit, and he just like makes stuff. He's very good at what he does. He makes knives and all these great woodworking projects, and he refurbishes old trucks. He originally started in the toy making business in New York, and now he lives in upstate New York. Anyway, the show is done at his maker shed, which is this gigantic barn with
Okay.
a few of his friends. And essentially, the gist of the show is kids will call in, and kind of like in a Shark Tank style, they will pitch a crazy kid idea to them.
Okay.
Like, I want a unicorn, but I want it to fart glitter. And they will be like, nope, next. And they will just swipe through like kids on Zoom
Okay.
or Skype.
You gonna see like the kids crying afterwards? After
No,
the 12 releases?
it's all very light and fun. And then eventually they'll come to a kid or a group of kids or a couple kids, and they will take the idea and they'll run with it, and they'll make it that episode. So
Oh, okay.
a lot of times it's like nothing like useful at all. Like one of them was a catapult that shot cat poop.
Okay.
And they split up into teams, and one of them made a trebuchet, which is the superior siege weapon,
Yep.
and a catapult, and they both flung cat poop. So
Okay.
you could throw it farther. But it's like a really just fun, stupid thing.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix, called Making Fun. I can't recommend it enough. It's not a show that you sit down and like, obviously like critique, but it's
Yeah.
just like one of those things where like you put it on the background, maybe you're like doing something else, you throw it on. It's very fun. Jimmy DiResta is the lead host. He's great, very funny, and he comes off as a grump in the show, but he's not like that in real life at all, which is very funny.
Do you know him?
I don't know him. I just like I've been following him for probably 10 years on YouTube. Like from when he was like had a very little following, and he just like he makes very simple videos. He takes a GoPro and he puts it around his neck, and he'll shoot video of him making something on a
Kind of like
lathe.
a Markiplier sort of thing.
Sort of a little less engineered than that.
Not
He'll-
Markiplier. Who's the guy I'm thinking of? The guy who he makes like he likes the elephant toothpaste. He's done a couple things with Mr. Beast.
Well, so anyway, like you can check
Yep.
out Jimmy DiResta. He loves to make weird shit, and he has this great like maker space. It's like this big shed, and he just like
Mark Rober.
Oh yeah,
That's
yes,
him.
yes.
Kind of like he just kind of like
Yes.
takes like sciencey shit and just kind of.
Yes, very similar. And And so Netflix pitched him this show. He used to be on a couple other shows with his brother back in the day on on other channels. But anyway, Netflix pitched him this show and he, accepted it. It's great. Making fun.
Nice. I'll check it out. Making fun
Watch an
on
episode.
Netflix.
They're half hour, I think.
Yeah, I can't imagine they're 2 hours long. So my recommendation for you is on YouTube. It was an animated show that was on, I believe, in 2002, 2003. It only lasted one season. I think I tweeted about it a couple times. It's called Clone High. Have you ever heard of this? Have you seen it?
No.
It is one of the funniest 2D animation shows. It's very of its time. It was on MTV. The creator of Scrubs actually is the creator of this TV show.
Oh, okay.
And the premise of it is that the U.S. government in like the 1980s dug up all this DNA and they cloned like all these famous people, like Abraham Lincoln, JFK, Joan of Arc, Gandhi. And now they're all just like teenagers in high school. They're all just going about their day. They're trying to deal with being a teenager while they're also trying to deal with being like Abraham Lincoln or Gandhi.
Are they named the same or they have different names?
No, they're all like, it's like, oh yeah, that's Gandhi. Like, hey, Joan of Arc. Like there are parts where they're like, you're Abraham Lincoln. Like, of course you should run for student president. And it's very funny. The best character in it, I think, is JFK. They make him this lady swooning like macho man, who's just very like not stupid, but he's always like, let's go swimming at my swim. Like, you must have seen the meme. It was going around like a year ago. This is how I found this out. Where it's like, haha, nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys. And like, then a car like flips over. like it's very stupid. It's a very fun show. I don't want to say it's not PC. But there were some parts in it where it's like, where like Eleanor Roosevelt is the gym teacher and she sends Joan of Arc like to the principal's office and she's like, yeah, walk nice and slow. It's very funny. But it was actually canceled after one season because people in India were not a fan of how they were portraying Gandhi. Gandhi is a little horn dog in this episode, and I believe like 100 people in India went on a hunger strike in order to get like MTV to cancel it.
Jeez.
But it's great. It's has awesome early 2000s music throughout it. It's just, you just got to check it out. It's on YouTube. If you look up Clone High, I think there's
I'm looking at it right now. So you can buy it on YouTube. Is there any other way?
You can buy it, and then there's also, if you just look up Clone High, I think the title is called like, so I downloaded all of Clone High, and except there's no advertisements or any.
Okay.
What, like, just look up Clone High. I gotta look up. It's also on
Clone High entire series, but it has no ads, and I downloaded it off this one.
Yes. So that's it.
I downloaded it off someone else's channel.
It's great. So check that out.
It's a 4 hours. It's literally the entire series. Okay, cool.
Correct. Except it has no ads. And he downloaded it off someone else's channel. So
cool.
It's very funny. Like Zach Braff has a lot of like guest appearances. So does Donald Faison. Joan of Arc is, I forget her name, but she's married to the creator of Scrubs. I forget her name. She's been in a couple of things.
Bill Lawrence's wife?
Yes.
It's what can I remember her name?
She was in Scrubs.
Yeah, she was in like Cougar Town.
Yep.
Christine Miller, or something like that. Krista, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Sorry, she's Chris Miller's.
Krista Miller.
wife.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nicole Sullivan's in it. Oh, Michael McDonald.
Yes, it's very funny. It's kind of like poking fun at like teenage drama.
John Stamos.
Like everyone who's in it, like every episode starts off as like a very special episode of Clone High. It's very funny.
Oh, Phil Lord is involved in this too.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of fun people, and like there's been rumors that it's been being brought back for a couple seasons on some sort of streaming network, but I'm not entirely sure. But if you get the chance to watch it, I'm like done with it. I watched like the first 4 episodes the other night, and it's very funny.
Cool.
It's
I'm gonna
very
watch
funny.
it definitely.
So yeah, I think that about does it for recommendations. Oh, what did I want to say? Oh, we're talking about average nobodies. The not last episode, but the episode before that, because there's been 2 episodes since we last talked.
Yeah.
That was the Oscars one, correct?
Oscar.
That was the Oscars draft where it was like the.
Oh yeah, best movies that didn't win an Oscar, but they got nominated.
Yeah, I think you had the right mindset. I think it was you.
Yeah.
Where it was like it shouldn't be just good movies that didn't win Best Picture. It should be like movies that you had to take into account not just that movie, but what movie won.
And
like
it was
putting
better
it.
than that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how I thought of it. Yeah. Otherwise, you're just picking out movies you like.
Exactly, because
no
it's like
consequence
I
to
mean,
it.
like only one movie a year wins fucking Best Picture.
Yeah.
Normally, it's like
The most egregious one was the year Artist won, I think, which was Moneyball.
yeah,
Like, that's crazy. Artist is this stupid, artsy, silent movie with John Goodman, and Moneyball is one of Aaron Sorkin's greatest writing accomplishments.
Yeah.
Besides Social Network.
you know what I tried watching the other night? It does not hold up well. Did you see my tweet that I was going to give The Hobbit a shot?
No, I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
I decided to. I haven't watched Hobbit in a couple years. I'm like 3/4 of the way done with the first movie because I'm watching like the extended edition or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just not the
Where's
same.
your hang up? I'm curious.
It's just I'm watching it and I'm like, it's just not Lord of the Rings. And like I understand like it's not Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I think, but they're like they try to connect it in with the movies so much with like Sauron coming back and the brown wizard, whatever his name is.
Oh, Radagash.
Yeah, Radagash. And it's just it's not Lord of the Rings. And I think because I turn on a Lord of the Rings movie like once a month.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, fucking, I'm watching Fellowship or I'm watching Two Towers. And it's just not the same. Why? Are you a big Hobbit guy?
I'm not a huge Hobbit guy. I do love the movie. I love Lord of the Rings way more. Like I love the Fellowship. I love Two Towers, and I love Return of the King way more. But I do enjoy them. Yeah. I understand people's hangups with it though. I just love it just because it's Lord of the Rings. I got Narsil tattooed on my arm.
Shit, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's new.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, I just love Lord of the Rings, and I love anything to do with it. And so when the Hobbit movies were coming out, I was psyched. And like I just blindly, as this is one of my flaws when it comes to like watching movies, I just look past their flaws because I like.
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ask me, fucking Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones are perfect, like perfection.
Yeah, right.
So like,
yeah, totally. Yeah, but yeah. So I just really like those movies. They're not as good as I won't pretend like they're as good as Return of the King.
Oh,
Or really even any of those movies, but
so good.
it's amazing. What do you think about? Have you seen any of the previews and stuff for the? We talked about this briefly, I think.
I have
The Lord of the Rings show.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Encouraged.
Yeah, I'm
we talked
encouraged.
about how people are
People,
nervous.
I mean, they showed a black woman and people were like, "This isn't Middle Earth," and it's like, okay, there can be black people in Middle Earth. We got to get past that real quick.
People were concerned that also it was going to look more like The Hobbit than Lord of the Rings, like in the way that, and I think that's something that's going to be hard to avoid.
Yes, because I think Lord of the Rings was like made in the perfect time too.
Yeah, it was, and
where
you're right,
like practical effects were still like they still had some CGI.
Yeah.
But it was just like the amount of practical effects in Lord of the Rings. We'll probably never see a movie like it again.
No,
just because it's just so much cheaper now, and it's just so much.
What's funny? The new Ghostbusters Afterlife did a really good job with practical effects.
Really?
Yeah, like remarkable. Like I was like looking at it, I'm like, they didn't need to do that. They definitely didn't need to do that either. Like these are all just practical effects. Pretty wild. They actually did a really good job. The problem with that movie is they literally filmed it in the middle of nowhere for all of it.
Okay.
So they really had no location budgets. So all of it went into practical effects.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like it is like this little town that they film it in is literally this like tiny little nothing town, and then they film it on top of a mountain.
Same thing probably for Lord of the Rings. I mean, a lot of it's just out in like fields. And
true, but I mean, you think about Lord of the Rings, like just the budget to bring like the elves and like all these different places, like Gondor, and like you know what I'm saying? Like that's a lot.
Oh yeah,
that's a lot of money.
You ever want to go to New Zealand? I want to go to New Zealand.
I want to go. Lindy and I, my wife, we originally had plans after we got married in 2020.
Oh, what happened?
Well, we still got married, but the wedding was cut down severely. But we originally were going to honeymoon in New Zealand
Mhm.
and do the tour.
Oh, that's fucking.
I know.
I have one of my
Yeah.
good friends. He got married and then did his honeymoon in New Zealand, and he was like, if I could live there, like if I could just pack up and just live there, I would. It's just so beautiful. Did you know New Zealand is actually one of the hardest countries though in order to like get citizenship?
It's a hidden secret.
Just because it's just like they don't want.
I believe it.
They just don't want any like. They kind of want to preserve their like way of life.
Yeah.
Like so, I'm sure like if fucking if you're like some millionaire billionaire,
Tom
you-
Hanks.
Yeah, if you're Tom Hanks, you want to go live in New Zealand, go for it. But
They also have a lot of big animals that I don't necessarily love, spiders and whatnot.
yeah, no, they're kind of looped in with Australia's where there's a lot of shit that can kill you.
Yeah, that
But
scares me.
I just want to go fucking see like because dude, I would go there the entire time thinking like I'm in Lord of the Rings, but like it's the happy parts.
The Lord of the Rings tour is what I wanted to do. Like I wanted to see where they filmed everything, and I was just like super excited to do that. And of course, everything.
One day,
I don't know.
you don't know.
We'll see. I don't know. We got a baby coming.
Yeah,
soon.
that's right. You announced that. Yeah,
So-
that's exciting.
So, I'm not going to be traveling to Hobbiton anytime soon.
Little Bilbo, is that what you're gonna name him?
Little Bilbo, yes, Bilbo Vieira.
Yeah. How much? Would your wife be down for you naming it like a nerdy thing?
Yeah, I mean, we had tossed out a bunch of.
Please don't go
names.
Brady. You
No,
can't go
no,
Brady.
No. Brady as a first name is tough.
Oh,
That's
I
tough.
have. They're not really friends, but they're like Facebook friends of like I have like 5 people who like just firstborn son. Oh, it's Brady, and it's like, oh, we get it. We
Yeah,
get
right.
it. You're from this area, and you really like the Patriots.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I don't think we're gonna be going with anything like that. But we did have Peter as a family name, and I don't hate the middle name Parker. It'll be
Okay.
a little on the nose. I like Logan, but also Logan Paul kind of like ruins
Ah,
that.
yeah,
Logan
yeah,
Paul
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of ruins that at every
Oh
turn.
my god, I wonder how many people because there was a kid I actually went to school with who was named Logan. He said he was named after Wolverine, which I was like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. The kid was fucking weird though.
Yeah. But we have a few names that are possible definites, and a few of them are super nerdy names. Super nerdy.
So like if it's a girl like Hermione.
No, it's a boy. So it's
Oh,
definitely
it's a boy? Okay,
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
It's definitely a boy. So we have some names picked out, and I think the lead. I won't announce it here, but the lead name is a nerd name.
Okay.
Is a from a nerd something.
Okay.
I had the one name that I couldn't get past my wife was I wanted to name our son Cade, Cayde, as the hunter from Destiny.
Okay.
Destiny, one of my favorite games. One of my favorite games.
C-A-Y-D-E. 'Cause I would have
C-A-Y-D.
thought C-A-D-E.
His name in Destiny is
Okay.
Cayde, played by Nathan Fillion, but that was a no. Said it sounded like a stripper's name.
Cade. Next up on the stage, Cade.
Right,
Does
right.
just kind of sound like you can definitely pass off as a stripper name.
So
But-
and that was also before we knew it was a boy or a girl, and I was like, oh, Cade could be both.
I mean, Cade could be both.
Cade
Because
could
it's
be
kind of
both.
like
And that's when she was like, nah, it sounds like a stripper name. I was like, you're not wrong,
yeah.
but
But no. Congrats on that.
thanks.
Middle name
excited.
obviously Justin. But
Yes, right,
That's
of
beside
course.
the point.
Yes, whatever first name Justin Show Vieira.
That's right. That's right. Little Justin show.
Little Justin Show.
I think that about does it for this week. Anything else you'd like to?
No, I got nothing exciting to talk about in video games this week, so I think a lot of people will be excited that we're not going to blab about video games. I've just been playing Destiny, so that's like really it.
Yeah. See, I downloaded it. I'm gonna tell you. I saw this meme and I wanted to send it to you, but I didn't download it. And it's like
I love Destiny memes.
it was this kid and he was like he's opening up something and he's like it's taken so many of my friends. I need to see what it is. I forget what it was, but it was like it was pretty much this kid saying like this is consumed so many people in my life. Maybe it's time for it to consume me. And he like looks up and it was like Destiny 2.
Yeah.
And I was like,
That's the
I
truth.
guess people who like Destiny 2 like really like Destiny 2.
Yeah, it's
So
great.
I want to get started.
I gotta tell you, and maybe I should have recommended this to you, but my name is Byf, BYF, on YouTube.
Okay.
He does Destiny lore videos, and he explains the lore, and he also has this like fantastic animation team, and they do CGI movies based off of the lore.
Oh,
that
okay.
they like Destiny has gone to him for some stuff that's just in Destiny lore written,
Mm-hmm.
characters that haven't been used in the game yet.
Yep.
He is made into real life
Oh,
CGI
really?
things, and Destiny has gone to him for the modeling
Oh, that's
for
dope.
the game. So he's very good. Bife. My name is Bife.
I'll check it out.
But yeah, the lore is super good. The new content is great. The raid just dropped, which was a nightmare for us. We spent 16 hours in the raid and we didn't beat it.
Oof,
Tough.
that's tough.
Tough. Well, the problem was the first 24 hours of a new raid, usually it's called contest mode, and they try a team of 6 will race to be the first ones in the world to do it, and
Mm-hmm.
Bungie will give you a belt, like
Yep.
a wrestling belt. But contest mode is a more high-level version of a raid that is already a
I
super
see.
high-level activity.
Yep.
So we were getting our asses kicked, and we're pretty good. Like we've beat almost every other raid. We're getting our asses kicked as a seasoned strike team. So we're like, fuck. And then after 24 hours, we're like, all right, we'll hit it again and we'll try and beat it. But because of like issues with servers, they extended it another 24 hours.
Oh, okay.
So we only really had one night of not contest mode to do it. We got all the way to the final boss, but we were like wiped. We're like, ah,
Yeah.
we're done.
No,
But anyway,
I
it's
think I'm gonna dip my toe in pretty soon, sooner rather than later.
Play, I'm telling you, just start with campaign, story, play. You can play on your own. You don't like super like regular level stuff is not hard. Like
Yep.
just play story mode. I think if that catches you, then the rest of it makes sense.
Yeah. So we'll see where I'm at next week.
Cool.
I think that about does it.
Cool, man.
Well, thank you to kalejack.com, promo code Tim10. Make sure to check him out.
I honestly, truly, like, I'm looking at the website now. I need
Yeah.
batteries for my electric weed whacker and leaf blower.
Yeah, they
for
probably
the
have it.
spring. They do have it. And 10% off of these battery prices are fucking a deal, so
awesome. And they're in stock. You don't have to go to, one of the big box stores or
I
anything like that.
hate going to Lowe's and Home Depot.
Oh, you do?
I hate it.
Yeah, same here. I totally hate doing that. I'd much rather go to kalejack.com. Okay. Well, I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.